Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ricardo? Yeah.
Can hear you loud and very clear.
Oh, okay. I think this is okay. For some reason, I logged in from like my personal Zoom, but it's still recording, so it should be okay. How are you keeping? How's everybody? Feels like forever since I was on here. It's kind of a bit dark where I am, so still settling into my new place. But I hope you're all well. Do we have anybody new on today's call? If you're new, please just let us know in the chat. I see Christian waving,
Christiane.
Laura. Sorry, can you repeat your name again?
Christiane.
Christiane?
Brazilian.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Is today your very first call with us or your first week?
Yeah, with sourcing, yes, but yesterday I had with Dan.
Okay, yeah, amazing. Well, welcome.
Nice to meet you here.
And we have Laura, who's new, in Hiti. Again, apologize if I'm pronouncing anybody's name wrong. But for everybody new, we'll just kind of give a small bit of an introduction. My name is Lucinda. I do the Tuesday coaching calls alongside Ricardo. On this call, we go over everything to do more with the kind of operational side of selling on Amazon. So everything from sourcing, negotiating, so working with suppliers, shipping, so working with freight forwarders. Yeah, so all of that sort of fun logistics, supply chain stuff. How I got to be here, I basically was the operations manager for Zadara Skincare, Tom's recently acquired skincare brand. So throughout that whole experience, I obviously just learned a lot. So everything I learned through there, I'm just here to share it with you all and help you along your journey. Ricardo, I'll hand it over to you.
Yep. Okay. So hi everyone, and I'm very glad that Lucinda is with me right now again because she was not here last week, and I really miss you, Lucinda. Anyway, welcome to the new guys in here, Dawn and the other Laura and Christian. Is it Christian? Okay. Anyway, I'm Ricardo, and I'm doing the coaching call with Lucinda every Tuesday, and which is Wednesday morning in my place because I'm in Philippines right now. And yeah, we do the coaching call and we tackle things about sourcing, negotiation, and also logistics. And I came in here also because I joined Tom's team since 2019, and I'm doing the sourcing thing for Tom. And aside from this one, before joining Tom, I've been doing this for 15 years already. And that's really long. And yeah, so hopefully me and Lucinda could help you with all your questions that you're going to throw to us. And yeah, that's it. So we're happy to be here again with you guys.
Yeah. So to start off, we will just go over to the Excel sheet where some of you submitted some questions prior to this call. So yeah, if you ever want anything like kind of specific, or it is good that you submit your questions prior to this call. We do usually always have time after answering these for questions over the chat. But anyway, to start, first question is from Angie. And the question is, hi, Lucinda and Ricardo. One of my top 3 suppliers is saying if I need a sample of their product, they can either send me from China, I have to pay for the express mail, or just order from one of their competitors that's selling on Amazon. Told me the brand name of the product, which I found. Would I just get it from Amazon? It's faster and cheaper, or do I still order directly from them in China? What would you do? I would still want to receive a sample directly from the manufacturer. Correct. You just don't know. Even if it was a supplier I, had been working with for, years, like meaning, 3+ years, I would still want to try a sample like directly. from their factory. I think, Ricardo, you feel the same too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I'm happy that me and Lucinda are always aligned with some decisions. I mean, most of our decisions.
Mhm.
And I would do the same thing because I would rather. I mean, even though I would be spending a little money on the express mail, I would rather go with getting my
Mhm.
sample from the supplier because I mean you won't know that I mean that's it. I want to get the sample from the supplier.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Like, our reason behind it is we want to ensure, you know, that this, yeah, like we want to ensure we're actually looking and evaluating like a product that's coming from this factory, like that they are manufacturing. You just never know. But like regarding like ordering product from Amazon, you know, we do suggest that you order, you know, your competitor's product. But Angie, for your question, pay the express shipping cost and just get a sample directly from the supplier. So with that, I'm going to move on to the next question, which is from Michelle. How do you search and make sure a product is not patented? Okay, so that's the first part of the question. So what I recommend is, I'll actually just drop the link here, but you're going to go on to USPTO and search. That's like basically like how I do it. It's actually a very good website in terms of like guidance and tutorials. But if you follow this exact link that I'm sharing in the chat, they'll show you how to search. But yeah, that's like how you check. It's the best way, the most legitimate way to check. And then the next part of the question, secondly, if I made a new design of the existing product, how do I prevent the supplier doesn't go ahead and sell the product themselves? Should I sign an NDA with the supplier, or does the NDA really enforce since the supplier is overseas, in this case, Pakistan? So how I've done this when we've made like differentiations or say like tweaked like a formula in terms like for skincare products, we send a non-exclusivity agreement. So yeah, that would be like the best option for that. So I can share the template for that. Sorry about that. I could share the template that we use at Zadara for that. I'll attach it to this call. So that's what I would recommend. Ricardo, what do you suggest?
Yeah. For this non-disclosure agreement is it's an agreement you have between you and the supplier. But the thing is, normally when you have this kind of agreement, you have to comply with the minimum order that they would require. Am I right, Lucinda? Because you have to comply with the sales that they would require in order for them to make the product more exclusive for you. That's how you do it, because they would definitely do and the way you could do it is, yeah, of course, you could make a purchase plan to show them how much are you getting for a year or for a couple of years, so that they would feel that they really have to make it exclusive for you. So that's how, because definitely if they would tell you, oh, we would require 10,000 or 20,000 in order for us to make it exclusive, but that is too much for a start, right, Lucinda? So what you could probably do is, it's a part of negotiation, just tell them that this is my first order, and then my plan is this and this and this for how many months. So do something like that, and hopefully that could help, because that is how I do things also.
So yeah, exactly. I'll attach like what like we use and what we use at Zadara for the exclusivity agreement with our suppliers, and exactly like what Ricardo has said. You know, you have, if you are placing small orders, which might be the case because you know you're just starting off with ordering this product, you'll definitely need to kind of showcase like your plans and forecasts of how much inventory you're going to be ordering, so that you know they know that it's going to be beneficial to them. Like it's a win-win partnership, signing this exclusivity and not offering it to anybody else. So again, you have to kind of prove yourself to them. And the best way to do that is just to provide a forecast for how much you plan to order within the next year. You're not really like signing or guaranteeing that you're going to be ordering this. It's just what you anticipate. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Michelle. I do believe that's all the questions we got on the sheet prior to the call. Thank you, Edgar, for posting in the chat on like where to submit those questions. But now that we have time, does anybody else like have any questions? Anybody want to come on and like verbally ask, or just put it in the chat?
If yeah, Lucinda, if we do not have someone who's going to ask a question right now, I mean, I could, because if you could remember, I was happy to share something about a template that we normally use in the course of this in this Amazon journey. It's the inspection template, because I was about to share that before before
Okay.
it's like, yeah. So
yeah, I can give you
send, so that we could yeah, we could give time to other students to think of some questions that they would like to throw
for sure.
to us.
Yeah, if you want to share,
Okay.
if you want to share your screen.
Okay, so I'm sharing right now. This one here. Hold on. Wait, that's not the one. I think my screen is paused. Can you enable it, Lucinda?
You should be able to. I've made you co-host.
Yeah, wait. Hold
so you
on,
should be able
checking.
to. Maybe try it again.
Can you see that already?
Yeah, I can see the screen. Are you not able to open it?
Okay. You are screen sharing. I'll do it again.
Yeah, maybe open it and then share your screen. Maybe that will help. If not, you can send it to me and I can share.
Okay, now
Perfect.
I'm sharing. Got it. Okay. Now, everyone, this is a template that I have created for everyone to use. So I have this also in a Word format. So this is an inspection request template. So you could, because normally some of our students, some of our members in our group, they have a less idea on how to do it. So now I'm giving this template for everyone to use it. So you could see there, you just have to type here your name, company name, and then your address, and then put a requisition number and also a date there, and then to inspector. I mean, who is your inspector? It could be Efficient or VTrust, and then the address, and then the point of contact. Now, subject is request for inspection from, yes, of course, that's you, and then you put your contact number and your email also, because normally some of the inspection company, they just communicate through email, like Efficient. If you're getting to contact them in WeChat, they are less to communicate with through WeChat, because Efficient and other would like to have all their communications documented. So that is very important here. So there are different kind of inspection requests. So we have the factory audit. Factory audit is something like you would like to make sure if the factory is existing, they are capable of doing your product and those things. But however, this inspection request is only for pre-shipment and also the 100% inspection, which is normally done. Okay. So now when I say before production, it is to make sure that that the materials that you are using is as per your requirement. So I put it here. So it's possible also, but as I have said, this inspection form is for the pre-shipment and also the 100%. Now, on production, this is on the time that they are doing the product. Because when I was in China, I am doing this. Because this is one thing that is very important to know that if they are doing everything correctly with your product. So moving forward, we have here the sellers or the suppliers information. So you put the company name, the company address, and all these things. Now, why do I have two addresses here? Because normally, the company address is normally it's the office address, and they have a different factory address for in compared to their company addresses. So, but some they have the same address for the company and also the factory, and this is more particular, very useful for trading companies. Now, again, I'm going back to the idea of using a trading company. If your price is workable for you to get a good ROI and a good profit margin, so it is okay to go for a trading company, because it always goes down to the cost to your profit margin. So there you have the company address and also the factory address. If you could get the Chinese translation of the company addresses, that would be fine. I mean, also the factory address, because normally Efficient would always ask for that also. So the point of contact and also the email. So here now, next. Now, what I have in here is like a checklist. So these are the information that you have to put in your in this inspection template. So we have the product name, of course, then the FNSKU, which is also the barcode, and then the quantity description, the quantity of the order that you're going to do. Next is the product specification. So you have the material, the dimension. So this is like a checklist that you're going to put into the template. So there goes there. So the color and other information, and also other information. If you have a certificate that you require, you could put it here also. And then we have the package information, then individual packages, the material dimension, and other informations about the packages, and then the master carton, and then other information for the package information. So we have the insert card, the FNSKU label sticker, the FBA label, the instruction manual, the care label if that is needed. And this one also is a requirement for Amazon, the suffocation warning sticker if it reaches a certain size, and then the tools, and then the other information. Tools is something like the assembly tools that you would require in order to have your product standing correctly. So there goes the buyers. Now, this is the inspection demand. So this is just a sample only. So here in inspection demand, you have to inspection demand are the things that you need the inspector to check on. So of course you have to request them to check on the material, and then the product height. There goes, and then the product weight, and then the dimension. Then I'm using these things as illustration. It's just for you to guide you on how you would do on the next pages. So see, no wood scar. This is just an example, okay? So no visible stain, and I will show you later some photos that is in coordinating with this list. There goes, and there, master carton. And then take note that the master carton for some, for not for the large product. So here must be less than 23 kg. Goes, and then here. No dusty untidy packed product, because sometimes this is very important also, because normally in China, what they do is after production, it goes already to the packing section, and they would say that through the packing they would do the quality control, which is not advisable. So sometimes from the production is still dusty and goes to the packaging. They don't even remove the dust on the product. They just immediately packed it, because we have that kind of experience also. So here you have the product photo. You just have to attach the product photo here, and then the type, inspection, demand, 1, 2, and all those things. Now in my next screen, okay, I'll show you another screen. Okay.
Sorry, Ricardo, what do you mean by type of inspection demand? Can you just clarify on that, please?
Yeah, this is what I'm going to show in my next screen.
Perfect.
Okay. Hold on. Just, okay, this is what I'm saying now. First is this is a sample. This is just a sample, because this is a product that we have done before for our brand. Okay, so you could see there now. Here you have to attach the photo, and we do it like this. You put the measurement.
I don't think it's showing Ricardo the screen.
Okay. Can you show it? Can you see the screen?
I can't see the document.
Oh wait, I'll try it again. Stop screen. Share it. Can you see that now?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Now here, this is the photo, because if you would check my first the template, I put there the photo of the product. So it is good that you have to put the details of the product. So once you have already the sample, measure your sample and check clearly the size of the sample. So here I have put the details there. Now, and then if you have found something in your sample, because once you have received your first sample, try to check it and then make a portfolio of what are the things that you observe that you have seen in your sample, and then save that in your file, because all those things are very useful. All those things are very useful. So the first sample, check all the things that you have seen, and then if you receive the product the final sample, check it again, and then take note of all the things that you have seen in that product, because those things you could put it in your inspection to make sure that those things are not seen in your delivery in the products that it's going to be delivered. So this here, so that's there, and then here you also put the insert card. This is just an example of the insert card, and then this is the box. It goes there, and then this. So these are the things that you're going to put in the one that you're answering, the one that you're asking for me, Lucinda. The things that you need to be inspected. So here is the weight of the product, and then there goes the shipping mark and those things here.
Because the inspector will also scan those barcodes just to make sure that they are scannable, which is so important, because I've worked with a few other clients who they haven't put that in their inspection, and their product has arrived at Amazon and Amazon can't scan it. and then they end up having to pay to have the product relabeled. So it is very, very important that you have that in your inspection request, that they scan those barcodes to ensure they're scannable.
Yeah, and make it sure also, because we are doing this in our for our products. If we have the barcode not very clear and you're not sure about it, ask your supplier to make a sticker that they would attach on the packaging. So yeah, so that's it. So as what we are doing before, we would attach this in this call, and hopefully this has helped.
No,
I mean,
that's
hopefully this will help. Yeah.
such a good example and such a good template. Thank you, Ricardo, for creating that. And I know a few of you asked, I did put it in the chat, but just in case you missed it, you will be able, this template will be uploaded to this call, and the call gets uploaded to the portal tomorrow. So you'll have access to this, and we'll upload it in like Word document format, so you'll be able to edit it yourself. So also, like, I love that Ricardo like has included photos, super important. Just as like another example, like, so this was the rose quartz roller that Zadara sold, and it's probably like difficult to see, lighting's not the best here, but we found when we were sourcing it that a lot of suppliers, it would be kind of like black around here. There'd be like black gunk coming out, and we paid also to have this additional kind of plastic palm piece inserted, which prevents it from like squeaking. So for example, when we would submit our inspection request form, we would actually just include like a detailed photo up here, like with arrows pointing out, like you need to inspect every unit of this, like in this particular area. So like be that detailed, like with your request. So like nothing is missed. But does anybody have any questions like regarding that? I know Edgar asked if like who do we, or maybe it was Enya. I know somebody asked who do you give this inspection request form to? The inspection company you use or for your own records? So you would give it, I would think, Ricardo, like do you send this to your inspection agency? Because like that's what I do. And then I save it obviously on record, like my own record, to in case I need to look back.
Yeah, and Lucinda is correct. I mean, Lucinda is giving us an example of the roller. It is very important that even though that is not the exact product that you're going to launch, you have to take a photo of the details that you do not want to be seen in your product, because that is very important. Make a portfolio, because another thing, making a portfolio, you could use that also when you ask for if something went wrong with your product, because those things are very, very important. Make a file in your computer, just make all those portfolio, because that is very useful. And I was saying that also because I could remember, Lucinda, that one of the students in the group, they posted like they have a good product, the sample was really good, and then when it is inspected, the inspector said that everything is good, but they just inspected a random inspection on the whole product. So when it was delivered, so now he got some reviews from Amazon and saying that there is something wrong with the product, something is missing, like these things. So in order for you to have some claims from your supplier, you have to make a portfolio of that. Ask your customer to send you photos, and then keep that, because if you're going to make another reorder, I hope everyone can follow that. If you would like to make another reorder, a reorder from the same supplier, what you could do is to have a claim on those products. And definitely they will give that to you, because you could show them that this product is like this. I mean, there's something wrong with this product one, then product two is this also, and then product three. So you could probably ask from the supplier that these three products that have problems can be deducted from the number of products you're going to order next. So that would be helpful. So save all those things and then throw them to your suppliers. So that's another tip for getting back your money, because normally in Amazon, in order to make your customer happy, is once they found something wrong with your product, what you do is to replace them, so that you'll have another good review. So that when you replace them, that will be already a loss for you. So in the next reorder, get that product to be deducted from the order that you're going to get. So I hope everyone
it's just good because if you ever need to prove that you actually have done your due diligence, like you have the record there, for any sort of a reason, even if it is like the barcode thing with Amazon. Like I said, that happened to a client of mine. He'd been selling the product for 3 years, same supplier, nothing changed with his packaging, but for some reason Amazon stopped receiving one of his shipments, and they said the reason was because of the barcode. But he was able to go back and say, I did an inspection, here's the inspection report. They were able to scan them, and then they were able to waive him having to pay. It was just the case, I think, like a few units didn't scan, and then the Amazon staff were just like, okay, we're not going to bother trying to scan these, they're not scannable. But he had the proof there that he did do an inspection report and they did scan them. So again, it's just showing that you have done your due diligence, you have the paperwork there. So it's just a good habit to get into keeping record of all of that, especially if you're selling anything topical. So yeah, that is inspection reports. If there's no other questions on that, I'm going to jump over to some of the other questions that have come through in the chat. This one's for you, Ricardo. It's from Enya. Hi, Ricardo. Do you also source on 1688? If you do you also send them RFQ or sourcing on 1688? Should be more casual than sourcing on Alibaba. I'm wondering if the 1688 sellers are familiar with PO and RFQ. Have you used it?
Okay. Actually, I do remember that I have used it before, but Alibaba is more user-friendly. However, you could, if what you are doing with Alibaba, you could also do that with 1688. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using the way you do it in Alibaba. Have you tried using 1688, Lucinda?
No, I think I remember, like, is it a website like Alibaba? Like, I think I remember going onto it, but now when I've looked it up, it says that it's like an agent, like a sourcing agent.
I think it's a sourcing thing like Alibaba, because like for instance, we have Made in China, we have the other website. Since Alibaba is very popular to overseas, I mean, Made in China and the other websites, they are trying to copy the way Alibaba is doing it. So I guess there's nothing wrong when you do this this thing, the RFQ and the PO. Definitely, Enya. All of the sellers, they are familiar with the PO and also the RFQ. So it's just the same. Whatever you have learned in the course of Tom, that is also applicable to anyone. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same formula. Yeah, it's the same format. Like really with any sort of a sourcing like portal or tool that you use, it would be the same format. You send out an RFQ. But yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. And yeah, let me know if you have any other follow-ups. Just put it in the chat. Next question is from Laura. So on chapter 2, Tom mentioned to reach out to 50 to 60 suppliers at the beginning stage to see who has the cheaper price and whatnot. Then the next video mentioned about RFQ for a more accurate price quotation. So which one should we do? Both? Isn't it repetitive if we're sending the mass email and RFQ to the same suppliers? Okay, I'll explain what I do and then Ricardo can explain what he does.
Yeah.
I usually send out an RFQ first. I do this so that I kind of get a general idea for like the cost of this product. And then I select a few, obviously that, have, a good pricing and, good establishment. Obviously just look at their company information. From there, then I, contact them, like email them, send them a message over Alibaba and, start asking more questions and send them the vendor qualification form that I've shared with you all before and just ask more in-depth detailed questions and begin negotiating, like ordering samples. That's how I do it. Ricardo, how do you do it?
Yeah, okay. How I do it. Wait, I'm going to share my screen again. Wait, hold on. Well, normally what I do is I communicate with the supplier in a more personal thing, so that because when I send it through an RFQ, because I think Alibaba has a format in the RFQ thing that you have to send it to many suppliers. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
They have that kind of format. So I tried that before, but it so happened that very few are replying to me. So because since it's my job for Tom to find quick answers and quick replies from supplier, what I do it on a personal thing. So okay, hold on.
But the way you do it, is that how you would recommend the students to do it?
Okay, what I do is this. Can I wait?
Yeah, you
Hold
can
on.
share.
I'm just getting my
No problem.
things ready.
But while Ricardo's getting that ready, I'll just kind of explain like why I do the RFQ and why I believe Tom does recommend to do that first, but I understand why it might be a little bit confusing on the portal, how it's laid out. But we recommend doing the RFQ first because, at the early stages, because you're still trying to figure out the cost so that you can look at your margins. So by sending out the RFQ, it's just an easier and faster way to get the cost instead of just kind of individually kind of sending emails or sending messages.
Yeah.
Ricardo, are you ready there?
Okay, yep. Okay, now. Where you are. Here goes. Okay, this is how I do it, Lucinda. So for everyone's information. Okay. Now, I do it more personal, and you just have. I mean, some would say that is a lot of work, but the thing is, I could get an immediate answer from suppliers. So what I do is this. Okay, I type in the product. Can you see that? Let's say, let's think of a product. Let's say, think of a product, Lucinda. Let's say a massager.
Or like, I was going to say hair scrunchie, but yeah, okay.
Okay, let's go for the scrunchies. Okay, so here goes the scrunchies. Sorry.
That's it, I think, yeah.
Okay, there goes. Now we have that. And normally I don't go for the product. I always go, hold on. I always go to the supplier. So there are two tabs here. Sorry, my computer is so slow. Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay.
So anyway, there are two things here. If you would click this one here,
Mhm.
there would something will come out here, product and supplier.
Okay.
Okay. And everyone, I think everyone knows this one.
Mhm. So you go by that list.
Yeah. And then hold on. Something wrong. Okay, there goes. Supplier. What happened to this?
So
I'm
then
so sorry.
when it shows the supplier, then how do you make that it's supplier is there now, like suppliers? That's the
Okay,
list.
there goes.
So then how
So
do
now,
you
I have this one already. So now
Mhm.
what I do is I first check, because if you put their scrunchies, you would see all of them are doing you'll see all the suppliers are having the photos of the scrunchies. However, if you have to check carefully. Now, like this one here, UO choice import and export. You would see that they have the scrunchies photos, right? However, if you would see here, the main product, silk pillowcase, silk fabric, silk eye mask, and then they have the scrunchies. So that means they are doing something else. Okay, I'll show another one. Because in some list here in Alibaba, they have the photos of the scrunchies. However, if you would see on the main product, they are doing the different products like cell phones, like this one here, you see, enamel pins, keychains, and headbands would go for that also. Anyway, so you have to check on the product also. Then what I do is I click this one here, then open the tab, and then like this here. And now there it goes there. Now, after that, I go to my, can you see this also? My
Yeah.
Word format there? Yeah.
Mhm.
Then after that, I go to my, my generic email or generic RFQ. So here, for those supplier that I'm using in Alibaba, I use this and I indicate my email there. So I just copy paste this one here. And then what I do is I click this one here. And
Okay.
there it goes. And then you see there, it will come
Mhm.
out. And then what I do, I just copy it in my generic, and then I paste it and then send. And then I do the same thing here, chat, and then doing that all the time when so then paste again.
Okay. So the reason why you don't like doing the RFQ is because you find you don't get much of a response?
Yes, that's right. So I
Okay.
do like this. So I copy, paste, and send, copy, paste, and send. If I'm satisfied already of sending this to 30 or 50 suppliers, then I guess I'm done with that already. And
Mhm.
then if there's another thing that I also do, if the supplier has an email address, what I do, I keep that and then I send that through my email, because I
Mhm.
do things more personal, because I found it more easy and more quick for these people to reply to me.
Mhm.
Because through email and then putting their name would be very more personal in doing the the sourcing. So that's how I do it.
Okay.
So you could do it by the RFQ, but for me, I would rather doing it by
Mhm.
that way. So I
So
hope that
Laura,
helps.
So like the main goal is just to get as many quotes as possible
Yep.
from suppliers, just so that you know, you're getting a good insight into the cost and the offering. So like Ricardo does it, like Ricardo has explained, you know, why he does it this way. You know, it's just kind of personal preference. You know, Tom does mention, you know, about the RFQ, and I do the RFQ just because I find it a little bit more efficient. But yeah, if you have any other follow-up questions, just please put them in the chat.
Yeah.
If anybody
And
else would
Laura,
like to
because
share in the chat how you do it, you know, if you follow like how Tom suggests, let us know in the chat. But sorry, Ricardo,
and
you were going to
Laura,
say something
yeah,
else?
yeah, and Laura, because it is very important that you have to ask a lot of you have to ask a lot of suppliers about the prices that you want, because that will be your basis. Because if someone would give you the lowest, and some suppliers, they are always ask, some supplier would ask you in like they will not give you the price already. They would just ask you directly, what is your target price? So at least if you have already a basis, give a price a little lower than the lowest price that you have collected. In that way, they will tell you if they can do it or not, because in that way also, maybe you could get a lower price from the lowest quote that you have received from your supplier. So it is very important that you have a basis, because I know it's really very hard if you would just guess a price that, okay, I want this price. I mean, but if you do not have a basis, and take note for everyone, take note, do not give a price that is like a fixed price, because it is more recent. It is more what they call this. If you would give a price of like, for example, if you got a price of like 0.45, don't give a price of like 0.40. It is more realistic if you would give them a price of like 0.42, 0.41,
Okay.
something like that, because it is more realistic if you would do like that. So that's a tip for
So like
everyone.
not an even number, or just like,
Yes,
oh, okay, okay,
not a full number, like 0.40,
Mhm.
0.50, 0.4.
Mhm.
So make it
Okay.
something like 0.42, 0.41,
Mhm.
something like that.
And do you have like your own kind of rule of thumb of how much you deduct off of your base price? You know,
Yes.
like, is it like a certain percentage, or do you always knock off like 15 cents, or what do you suggest?
Okay. Normally, for everyone's information, most of the suppliers, they have a 30% to 40% margin. So if, for example, you got the lowest price at, let's say, you got the lowest price of like 0.4, take out immediately 15%. Then
Mhm.
make a figure that is not exact when you took out the 15%. Because at least you have to leave a little profit margin for the company. So if it's like
Mhm.
$100, take out at the back of your head, it's 30%, it's $30. So don't give 70, because definitely they will tell you, no, we cannot do that. So at least give them like 80, something like that, or let's say like 75, something like that. So
Mhm.
30% is normally my basis to make call this a negotiation to make the price lower. So that's how
Okay.
I do it.
No, that's really good to know. Thank
Mhm.
you for sharing. So I'm going to jump over to this question here from John. What is the best city location for easier, cheaper shipping purposes? Shenzhen, Hangzhou, Guangzhou, etc. Does anybody narrow their suppliers by these towns, shipping ports, or does it even matter? I find, not for me personally, but I do find lately, when, you know, I have clients who are looking for new suppliers, like say for like new products, they are looking at that just because of how like shipping costs are just increasing like crazy. So like, yeah, Ricardo, where do you recommend like is the best? I would think Shenzhen and Guangzhou, but in terms of like easier and faster and cheaper shipping, what regions? And do you find you're
Okay.
making that like decision, like taking that into consideration when you're making a decision about suppliers? We did actually recently speak about this with a student a couple of weeks ago. She had like two very, very good like suppliers and she didn't know which one to go with. She, you know, was happy with both. And she like could not make up a decision. And that was kind of like our suggestion, seeing she was happy with the quality and price. So we told her to actually look at the region where they're located and the shipping cost and take that into account.
Yeah. So in my case, for me, it doesn't matter what is the. Lucinda is correct. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter what port you're going to use. However, it should be near where your supplier is located. So that is very important because that is one factor of how you would minimize your costs also. But based on my experience, I know not with my experience. The thing is, what I know, Ningbo has a big port, but most of the freight forwarders are located in Shenzhen. So if your supplier is coming from Shenzhen, so it is more easy for them to have your product sent to Shenzhen. Okay. Now, we know that we have a lot of. I mean, we have few FF that has joined our group. So, like for instance, YCD, they have an office in Shenzhen, I think. So it would be easy for them to have your product to be sent to Shenzhen. If they have a warehouse in Yiwu, like Forest Leopard, they have a warehouse in Shenzhen, also in Yiwu. So anything that is near to those areas would be very cost effective also. Now, I have also told Tom, I know that I have mentioned that already, that we have to put more FF in our group in order to have some options, because for us it would be very easy for us to get more codes. Like if for example you got a price from Forest and you got a price from YCD and then another, you could immediately put that in the group and tell them, I mean not in the group, you could immediately tell those FF that this is the price that I'm getting. Because I have one student whom I've been guiding. So what she did is he got a code from YCD, and he got a code from Forest. And what she did is she compared immediately, and she was throwing these prices to each other. Like for instance, YCD quoted 50, let's say $2.5 per kg, and then Forest quoted like 2.3 kg per kg. So what she's doing is throwing the questions to the other supplier, like, okay, YCD, I got this quote from Forest 2.8. Can you do that? And then I happen to know that YCD made it lower than 2.3. So again, when getting that quote, he went back to, I mean, it's funny. I mean, he went back to Forest and then he said, no, I cannot do a 2.3. Someone's quoted me at 2.1. Can you do that? Or something like, until you get the lowest quote.
So it's not
Something
even
like that.
negotiating with your suppliers, you know, like you can negotiate like with your freight forwarders as well.
Yeah. And another thing, I have also told Tom to to put this in the resource section. This another another company, and some of the students are using this one. So you could see that in the chat. I have included that. Have you seen that, Lucinda?
Thank you, Ricardo.
One thing good with Fly International Logistics Freight, they have a 3PL in USA. So they could also do the fulfillment thing in Amazon. They could do the labeling in that warehouse. They have 3 warehouses in USA, and they have 1 warehouse that they could accept our goods and do the 3PL thing. And also they have also warehouses in Shenzhen, wherein they could put your product there, the same as what YCD and also Forest Leopard is doing. They could put your product there, and then it could stay there for like 2 months without any fees on your part. Once your goods, once you want to have your goods delivered to USA, so they could do that. So most of the FF are doing this in order to catch more customers. Like they would say that we could house your product in our warehouse in China without any fee for 2 to 3 months, something like that. So this is one of their marketing thing that they are doing.
Yeah, no, if anybody needs like a 3PL, I would definitely, look into like Fly International. 3PLs are very hard to come by, especially this time of year. There's a specific 3PL that I just really want to work with for our brand I'm working with at the moment, but they actually have no availability until early next year, given, it's coming into the busy period right now. So if you are looking for a 3PL, I would definitely, inquire with Fly International.
Yeah. And also, just for everyone, I mean, I'm taking this opportunity also because the thing is, I really pity one student because just for everyone to know, because it is good that we have the group, because in the group we could warn our members, because I do not know if it's right to do this, but the thing is, I think for me, in my own opinion, it is okay, because the thing is, one student, one Amazon seller in our group had a problem with 3PL winner. Have you heard of 3PL winners? Now he's having a problem with that. So, I mean, it's just a warning for everyone that if you're about to use 3PL winners, then you have to check on this also, because it's good that we have the group.
From my experience, it can be kind of common to run into issues with 3PLs. Like what I kind of mean is they can make like discrepancies. You sometimes have to chase them for stuff. That is kind of normal. Just want to kind of put it out there. So it is always really good to have create standard operating procedures and stuff for them. You don't really have to think about this if you're just kind of drip feeding inventory. So if you're sending inventory, say from the 3PL to Amazon, this is more if you're doing like Shopify or anything else as your business scales and you start to explore other avenues other than just Amazon. So just something to keep in mind with 3PLs. It is kind of normal to have to chase them for stuff. I've heard it's completely normal in the industry of warehouses and 3PLs. So half of my morning today was spent chasing the 3PL I work with. So yeah. And is it necessary to get a 3PL anytime? So, if you're struggling to find somewhere to store your products, then a 3PL is good to, utilize and look into. So meaning if, you can't send all of your inventory to Amazon because of the storage limit, then you might need to look at a 3PL. Or, obviously it's cheaper to store it at your home if that's, an option. Right. But if you can't do any of that, that is why some of our students are looking at 3PLs because they need somewhere in the US to store the product. And then when availability opens in terms of like storage allowance at Amazon, they send their inventory from their 3PL into Amazon. So that's the only reason why you would kind of really need it right now.
Yeah, it's just that it's there's an additional cost for that, right? You seen that?
Yeah.
Especially in USA.
So some like Amazon sellers right now, well, they should have, started earlier in the year, but sellers right now are, getting a lot of inventory because, they're preparing for, Q4, like the holiday season. So they have all this inventory, but, they don't really have the allowance at Amazon to send all of that inventory in, but they know they're going to, possibly have the sales in November and December. Where are they going to store it? So they can either store it at their home or a 3PL. So that is why, again, you would look into a 3PL.
Yeah, and it is very important that you would do you do a planning on your selling, because you could also have your products stocked in China, and that's for free, especially for Fly, for YCD, and also Forest. However, you have to be very ready. I mean, you have to do some planning on how many pieces you should send to your to Amazon. I mean, it's a planning thing. It's a planning thing.
It is, because like with China, you have the
do
freight
that.
time, right? Like they're gonna have the freight time. Shipping cost is super expensive, especially air. I just shipped something by air yesterday, and the cost is just horrendous, as expected. But it's just crazy. So, if you're looking to store inventory that you hope to sell in November and in like December, storing in China is not like realistic. You would need to store it like in the US, to cut down on that shipping time and cost. But yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question, Cam, about why you would need to utilize a 3PL.
And we just have to be very proactive with our stocks. You have to be, sometimes the sales goes up very quickly, so you have to know that also.
And something to bear in mind, I actually recently posted about this because somebody asked about kind of like Black Friday, like Q4 holiday season planning. I believe it's the very end of October. So if you have to get your inventory into Amazon, like delivered and received at Amazon by October, like 30th or 31st, if you want that inventory to be sold in like November and December. So bear that in mind. They do have like a cutoff date, because obviously they're receiving an extreme amount of inventory from all sellers, right? So their receiving team needs time to receive all of that inventory for the holiday season. So yeah, your inventory needs to be there by the end of October. Very important to keep that in mind.
Yeah,
But
we have another follow-up question from.
Oh, okay.
We have another follow-up question from Cami.
Now I have 1,270 pieces. I will send all of them to Amazon FBA. Is that normal or not? Yeah. I think usually.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So yeah, if you're able to, if Amazon's allowing you to create a shipment plan for that, send those units straight to Amazon.
Yeah, as long as you are allowed, I mean, that's not a problem. You could even send more if you want.
But let me see here. So from Adrian, do you guys do cushioning between the items on your cartons? I see that Amazon says to have 2 inches between the items, but that seems a lot. I've never really taken that into consideration. Do you usually include those guidelines, Ricardo, to your suppliers? I don't. When I've shipped any goods, they're just packed in the carton, like on top of each other. Obviously, they kind of put a bit of padding sheet on the bottom of the carton, and then product like stacked, and then on top they'll put like some padding sheet but not in between each layer of products.
Yeah, I mean, and
And for like glass packaging, obviously there's extra padding, but like that's not going to Amazon. That's just going to like my serum manufacturer, but like for skincare. But Ricardo, do you include those guidelines?
Actually, I haven't experienced something like that also, because I mean, within the box, it has to be safe already. If you would put something, yeah, like for instance, a styrofoam or like a padding inside the box, but not outside to protect your product.
So do you put a sheet, like so that
meaning a
yeah,
box
so
and a
Adrian is
sheet and then
asking,
box?
do you guys do cushioning between the items on your cartons? I see that Amazon says to have 2 inches between the items, but that seems a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I haven't experienced something like that.
Have not?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's actually that's kind of like news to me. I've never had any shipments stopped going into Amazon because of that reason. And I've never provided those guidelines to any of my suppliers. So yeah, that's kind of our experience, Adrian.
Unless you want to expound that, Adrian.
Okay, thanks. Was wondering, since it was in the shipping and routing request requirement page. Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up, Adrian. As I said, I haven't come across that. And I haven't heard like any other sellers kind of running into an issue from like not following those guidelines.
It's 1 minute, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my AirPods died. But yeah, so I think that's we're kind of at time right now. And I don't think there is any other questions that we missed. But thank you, Ben and Edgar, for taking notes. We appreciate it. Again, I'll leave a little bit of time, just like a minute or so at the end, if anybody wants to save the notes in the chat before I sign off. But yeah, I hope everybody, has learned something today, and the new people who joined us are not overwhelmed. If you do have any questions before next week, please just, submit them. Sorry, if you need anything answered before next week, just post it on the Facebook group and tag us, and we'll answer. And then, Ben and Edgar too have posted the link in the chat for where you can submit your questions for us to answer next week. You can also submit any topics that you want us to go over, anything like, specific. But yeah, Ricardo, do you want to say any last words?
Yeah, same thing, Lucinda. I mean, as we are saying to all of the listeners here, and also to those who are not in here, if you have any questions, you just post it in our FBA Masterclass group, and then and also tag us so that we will know that it's for us. And we are very happy to answer those questions. And again, if you have some questions, just put it in the Excel file that Ben and Edward has put in this chat. So yeah, that's it. So
okay.
Hope
everybody,
to see everyone again.
Have a good week. Yeah, have an awesome week.
And I would really love to see you again next week.
Yes, yes, I'll be here. Hopefully the boxes behind me will be unpacked.
Because I really enjoy doing this with you.
Yeah, me too. I know, it feels like forever. It feels like a month since I've been on. So, and yes, we went somewhat smoothly. Thanks for asking, Ben. But yes, take care, everybody, and I will see you all next week. And bye. Bye, Ricardo.
Yeah, bye, Lucinda.
Take care. Bye.
Hope to see you again, everyone. Bye.